Beargrass weaving, the cultural use of beargrass in Southwest Oregon, tribal basketry, and regalia. Exarophyllum tenax is a North American species of plants in the corn lily family. It is known by several common names, including beargrass, woman's grass, soapgrass, quip, and Indian basket grass. Since time immemorial, the Western tribes have used this grass for patterns on their basketry and braids for regalia. Today it's used for contemporary tribal jewelry. You can see in this slide we have some beautiful work done by Select tribal member Lorraine Hughes working on a basket cap. We see some braids and some beautiful jewelry that's also been made by contemporary tribal weavers. Weavers wait until after the blooms fade before gathering the grass to help ensure plants grow back healthy. Here's a video of how we gather the plants. There's a little bit in here on identifying the plants, identifying the location, and just a little bit about the background of how the area is managed with traditional burns and how we source the grass.
So this is a great example of when we go to get the beargrass. You can see they bloomed here. They bloom very early on, starting in about April, May, and June. We never go into the forest to collect any of our beargrass until the blooms are completely faded. That allows the plant to regenerate itself, seeds to be broadcast, and more plants to grow next year. So I wanted to show you this beargrass is growing underneath these coffee berry bushes. And so what that allows them to do is grow super long blades of grass. And on a lot of the coast basketry, you'll see long braids of grass like this are laid on top of the spokes, and the weavers come across and hold them in place, and so they're used for a different type of design and pattern work. Let's see if I can get a piece to come up out of here. Show you that. So you can see it's just a really significantly long piece, and that's because these are really mature plants, and so that's why we come to some of these patches for this certain grass. As you can see, we're in an old growth forest. We have lots of good cover and canopy here. Now these particular beargrass plants are growing in more of a meadow opened area. And so what that does is these plants are getting a lot of sun, and the blades are growing in thicker, and they're less soft and less easy to weave with. There'll be a stiffer plant, and even though it looks like it's easy to get, these would not be the ideal pieces of grass to get. Now in Northern California, and in some of the places in Southern Oregon, the tribes traditionally burned back the land. So this area here, if it had been covered by a wildfire or traditional burning, these would have been burnt back, and the grass that would grow back from them would be very soft and be wonderful for doing some of the tiny overlay work like we see on the basket caps and the medallions and the smaller baskets.
After that, the grass blades are gently pulled from the center of each plant, and then we lay them out into the sun to whiten. Afterwards, the grass is soaked in warm water, smoothed with a knife, and made ready for a project. You can see the white grass here. It's just on top of the small root that you see as it's coming around the stick. My fingers are holding it in place, and you can see how the grass is being used to make a pattern. It's also being used with dyed woodwardia fern stem. That's the red fibers that you see there. And we're going to see a little bit more about that after this slide presentation. Will actually give you a contemporary demo of these same materials. Here, tribal weavers show both beargrass flatwork, that's the two baskets that you see in the center, made by these two ladies here, and beargrass overlay work on their basketry. So you see the basket work on either end is root and stick basketry with beargrass overlay, a bit more of that fern. That's Jennifer. Next to her is Rhonda and Sharon Parrish, mother and daughter weaving team. And you can see their beargrass is laid flat. That's the white fibers that you see coming up towards the top of the basket. And then on the right is Lorraine Hughes, and she's got a small basket start that she's using. Interesting, behind these ladies are photos and baskets, historic baskets, of some of their ancestral tribal weavers from their nearby tribe. Beargrass also played a very significant role in the making of traditional ceremonial dance regalia. This skirt here, it's actually a dance apron, and it is covered with beargrass wrappings, juniper berries, white beads, pine nuts, which are down at the bottom there, drilled pine nuts, and more beargrass braids. So here we see the braids and wrappings of deerskin thongs with beargrass. So these images were taken at the Burke Museum. So this historic beargrass apron pictured here is in the possession of the Burke Museum in Washington State. That's in Seattle. The museum works with tribal weavers in a special program that affords tribal students the opportunity to travel, study, and research items that help rebuild ancient cultural knowledge and skills, items that are in the repository there at the museum. They have a wonderful program. They make it very easy for tribal weavers to spend several days researching as much material as they see necessary to help them learn their work. It's a great group to work with. Fine grass was used to make the hundreds of braids and wrappings on that particular apron that's at the Burke Museum. As you can see, there's fine beargrass braids on your left. Incredible long pieces of grass, similar to the grass you saw me pulling in the video, used to wrap leather thong, or in this particular braid, cotton thong that came on down before the juniper berries were attached. And then beargrass wrapping that went around the upper edge. What I wish I could speak to you about is the sound that this apron makes. It's a ch-ch-ch sound when it's worn by the dancer, and that's a very important traditional song wording sound that the regalia makes when the dancer begins to come out into the dance. Of note, only the Southern Oregon and Northern California tribes practiced the making of these aprons. It's very important traditional work. Beargrass is similar to the use of palmetto by the Homa and other nearby southeastern Louisiana tribes. The Homa are known for their fine braided palmetto baskets and hats. Like the tribal weavers here on the west coast, the Homa search out special groves of palmetto, consider their braids to be of cultural significance and identity. With my own ancestry being from southeast Louisiana and Indian ancestors from below New Orleans in the Grand Bayou Indian Village Diamond area, I was able to visit and meet with families there to learn about gathering palmetto and making the braids. I hope to return there sometime and gather again and do some more traditional weaving.